It seems like a dream looking back these many years after Bud Grant was on the sidelines, looking like the iconic Viking of a bygone era. Thumbing his nose at cold weather by saying, "There'll be no heaters on my sidelines. My players have thicker skin than your players."
There, did you get that one?
Oh, nice.
Did you get that shot?
Brian doesn't miss a trick, Bud. He's on everything.
That bass just cruised into it.
Wow, look at the shoulders on that thing, Bud.
More like a defensive back to me.
And I can't begin to count the times Bud rattled off the dozens of fishing or hunting trips he'd been taking in the next month. Another bonus day today.
Hey,
They're all bonuses.
every day is a bonus.
Today I paid a visit to the man I covered and have known for so many years. We're both retired now, and Bud asked if I'd carve one of his favorite ducks for him.
Bud, I have a little something here for you.
It's a hobby I use to keep me occupied these days. So today is the day of reckoning. I bring Bud his birthday gift in a Bud 12-pack. What else?
Oh
There it is.
my! Oh, a mallard. I like wood ducks. They're the
I know
most
you.
colorful dog.
That's what you recommended I carve for you.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that this doesn't end up in your garage sale next year.
Well, it depends.
Depends on how hard up you are.
Yeah, that's right.
Bud and his black lab, Boom, are enjoying retirement in northern Wisconsin, not far from where Bud was born and raised in Superior, Wisconsin. Bud's high school team was the Superior Central Vikings. That's right, and their color, you guessed it, purple and white. An omen, you say? Well, as a ninth grader, Bud Grant was a starter for the Central basketball team that went to the Wisconsin State semifinals.
We stayed in Madison for 3 or 4 days. They had a cafeteria. You could sign. I'd never seen a cafeteria before. I ate every chance I got. I went to that cafeteria. I ate and ate and ate and ate.
2 or 3 times a day or whatever.
Anytime free time, I went and ate.
Yeah.
I had to do sign my name. So I came home after the tournament. I got sick. I don't know what it was, a fever or a flu or whatever it was. From that point on, my hair started turning gray.
In the 9th grade?
In 9th grade.
And Bud's athletic career might have turned another corner when he was a young kid had it not been for the family doctor.
And I had polio when I was a kid, so one of the things that our doctor, who was ahead of his time, it was a Sister Kenny era where you rest, and all that, but our doctor said, no. He said, get the kid a baseball mitt and let him go out and play.
Really?
Which is good advice.
Wow.
But I had one leg that was shorter than the other for all the way through high school, and finally outgrew all of that from having polio at that time.
So being from Superior, Wisconsin, how is it that Bud Grant ended up playing for the Minnesota team, the Gophers, instead of the Wisconsin Badgers?
I ended up going to Minnesota primarily because it was close to home.
From college, of course, it was on to the pros, where Bud Grant made an immediate impact. He led the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFL in sacks on defense, but took a physical beating and knew he was more valuable on offense. So he, Bud, gave the Eagles an ultimatum.
I'm not coming back unless I play offense. They said, well, we got Pete Pihos, who was an all-pro, and then we got Bobby Walson, Rookie of the Year, and I said, I'm better than both of those guys. I said, I'm not coming back unless I play offense. So I said, well, we'll give you a shot. Well, anyway, it ended up I played offense and the second league in receiving, made the Pro Bowl as a wide receiver my second year. So that was, that was good. But so I went in for a raise. Yeah, they said, we'll give you $1,000 raise.
What's your reaction?
From $7,000 to $8,000. I said, well, that doesn't seem like a very good raise. He said, well, we can't pay him more than PP, who has been here for 5 or 6 years. I said, why not? I said, better than he is. Well, we don't work that way. You gotta, it's the same thing. You put in your time and you go graduate up. I said, no. So that's when I played out my option and went to Winnipeg.
And became the first
for
free
more
agent.
money.
Yeah.
More money. I mean, made $10,000 in Winnipeg instead of 8.
You have to have asked yourself this question. If you had those kind of stats today, what you would be making?
You don't want to think about that.
I don't think you do you?
No, I mean, no. But the other thing is you got to be careful. You know, eras are different. I mean, the situations are different. You can't, say, well, if I'd have born 40 years earlier or later or something, it'd been better. But no, in those days, I mean, I could afford to making $7,000, $8,000 a year. I could afford to get married. I could afford to have a car. I could afford to start a family, all on that money. Plus what I made in baseball in the summer of town ball, which was pretty lucrative.
Bud Grant also played for the world champion Minneapolis Lakers in basketball in the 1950s, with names like Mickelson, Pollard, Skoog, and was George Mikan as good as they said?
Many times people have asked me, who is the best player, who is the best? Well, you can't ever say anybody's the best, because you reflect in all the players you've been played with or coached with, so nobody's the best, except there are special players. Mikan is a special player. He's the greatest competitor I've ever been around.
So George Mikan was that good, and it might surprise you that a Gopher teammate, wrestler Vern Gagne, was at the top of Bud's list.
Vern Gagne, first of all, he's a great athlete. He's a tumbler, and he could swim, and he could throw a baseball, he could run. He had good hands, he could catch a ball, football, baseball, whatever it was.
Could you compare him, Gagne, to anybody?
Well, I would say Lawrence Taylor.
Then my father was here. He was different than I was. He was a very gregarious guy. He'd stand up and he'd say, "The kid made it. He finally made it."
Bud Grant's dad called him the Kid, so how did he become known as Bud?
My name is Harry Jr., and his name is Harry. Everybody here was called Harry. Every time they called Harry, I'd jump or he'd jump. Well, so my mother called me Buddy Boy. Always called me Buddy Boy.
That's how you got the nickname?
That's how I got the nickname from my mother. She called me Buddy Boy. Well, it shortened it to Bud after I got past the Buddy stage of life.
You know, the reason I brought the helmet, it sort of reminds me of the old days. Is this one that you might have used in your day?
I'm not that old. I'm old. I'm old. I'm not that old. No, I think this is a...
Maybe your dad might have.
My dad, I've got the helmet my dad wore.
I know you do.
That's older than this one.
I've worn that one.
Yeah.
With your nose, you don't need a nose guard. Oh, a wise guy.
If this reporter had to list the 5 most iconic Minnesotans ever, the name of Harry Buddy Boy Bud Grant would be one of the 5. I plan to revisit old Buddy Boy next year on his 90th birthday. R.J. Fritz out and about for Life to the Max.